Alrighty then. Hey, I'm here. We're live. All right. I got to build a track here. Give me a second. I'm trying to figure out do like a 12/8 thing maybe. I need drums. No. Oh, you know what I need? Let me do drummer. Oh, I can do all. Okay. Do they have a blues option here? They got a lot of options. I haven't really. I updated Logic a couple months ago, and kind of. So I got pop rock, hard rock, retro rock, punk rock, funk rock, psychedelic rock, funky songwriter, pop songwriter, experimental songwriter, roots songwriter, 60s songwriter, roots brush, pop brush, indie pop, indie disco, indie rock, garage rock, modern A&B, and what's these here? Down electronic drummers. Okay, we can do that. Now I need. So if I just maybe retro rock, start there. I already changed the meter to 12/8, which would be a shuffle, bum ba bum ba bum kind of thing. So I'm just gonna do. It's to start out. I'm gonna do like a one chord blues thing. So let's see what we get here. I think I'm gonna need to slow down. Yeah, I want to slow down. Let's go down to like 94. That was 130. Okay, let's simplify it. No, not that much. And then I guess we can put fills in there. That's fine. I'm just going to end up looping probably the same 2 or 4 bars or something. Okay. So now I can add another, I don't know how well you can hear that, but now I can add I'm going to add a bass player. All right. And again, it's giving me these weird retro rock. I'll do that. Okay, I'm going to move him here. And now it's like, this I've never worked with. Why did it mute the, that's weird. Or is it just because I'm not? Why did it go into solo mode? That's weird. This is. It's just some random bass line. It's hilarious. Not that big a fan of the tone. Kind of distorted groove. Wow, you got a lot of options here though. Octaves, phrasing, medium phrasing. What does that mean? Phrasing, medium phrasing. I don't know what that means. Complexity. Yeah, can I plug in a chord progression? Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the bass. I can do this myself. I just need a decent bass sound. I'll go to, sorry, I should have had this done beforehand, but it was just like, oh, I should have a jam track. It just kind of happened. All right. Okay, now down here I have basses. Upright bass, prime bass, icon bass. I just like this basic Music Man bass. Sounds good. It'll load. Weird. So are all the Scarby bass is gone? When you update things, things aren't how they used to be. This is weird. Huh. Well, maybe I'll just go with Logic instruments. Let's see what Logic basses we can get. You can all talk amongst yourselves. Ultimately, we're going to have some kind of, let's see, let's go here, let's click on bass. I don't know why it's doing this weird thing where I have to click on it to hear it. That's just something new. Okay, I'm going to quit and I'm going to quit Logic. Don't save. I don't know what the heck is going on. I'm just going to create a new session. 12.8, 94 BPM. That sounded pretty good, right? I'll just go MIDI. All right. And then 12.8, 94. Wish you could see my. There's a way to add my screen to the screen here so what you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna basically do a basic drummer here. Drum kit, Brooklyn, sure. And now, see, I don't like that kick drum sound. Sorry, that is a really loud click. And changing the volume of the click. I like that kick better. It's a little beefier. That's as simple as that. I'm going to quantize that because I'm not perfect. Okay, let's add a little hi-hat to that. Okay. Got to wait for 12 clicks. All right, that'll do it. We've got to quantize that now. All right, now we have that. I just need I'm not gonna have rhythm guitar on this because that would just take some time. I'm gonna do a bass. Let's just pick a bass here. Crunchy pop, no. Club ambient upright, no. Coffee shop monsters, what the heck? Rock growl, retro radio. Too many choices here. Focused 60s. Okay, so I'm just going to stick on like an A. So we're just going to do like an A7 thing. I could even throw that in there, maybe, I don't know. That. I was a little late on that first. Okay, let's put a piano in there to kind of get a kind of an A7 vibe, or let's put in a Rhodes or something, right? What do you think? Any consensus? Slide in standard. Yes, we're going to talk about slide in standard. You know, most slide players play in an open tuning, some kind of open D, open G. Those are the two main, or open E or open A. Those are the main ones. Let's see. What did piano? No, we want Rhodes or something. B3 would be nice. Vintage electric piano. Let's go with the Wurlitzer Classic. Okay. I could avoid the third. I could avoid that to keep it in the bluesy thing. again, I was early on that first chord, so you didn't hear it on the repeat. Quantize and see what we get. Should that be a down an octave maybe? Yeah, maybe, because I'm going to be playing on top of it. Alright. The kick is probably too loud, isn't it? So I'm going to roll off the bottom end. That should be better. Maybe a little up, roll off a little bit of the bottom end of the bass. Alright. How is that? Is it distorting at all? Does it sound okay? Have I tried sliding dad yet? Not really. I don't think so. Well, dad, see, what I have done is G2 on the lap, because I can bend the second string up to a minor or a major, and so, okay, so I'm in standard. All right. I need an amp sound. I haven't created a guitar sound yet, so I'm going to use Blue Cat Audio. Do this. Input 2. Blue Cat Audio is a French company, and they've got this Axiom amp that's insanely, I want to say complex, deep. Has a lot of just the factory presets are a good place to start. Let's see if I found that Blues Drive amp. Let's see what this sounds like. Okay, got to enable the track. So, actually, I just realized something. I am going to go ahead and add a third to that piano, because I'll tell you why. There we go. Here's the third. C sharp. Because we're going to be talking about major chords, so. I want you to see. We're gonna see where we can use the slide, and kind of without having to. This is 99% of the time I use slide. I'm just picking it up to do something in the middle of a song or something, and maybe live. And I want to play slide on a song. Well, I don't have. You can't when you go to like. You start out the song and you're playing the first 4 minutes, you're playing just rhythm guitar, and then you go to lead. You don't have time to retune, and so the whole point is to be able to just pick up the slide and play slide without having to change your tuning, or change guitars or anything like that. Now, if you're a slide player, you might have a guitar that you're just tuned open D the whole night, and a lot of players do that if that's their thing. But slide guitar is not my thing. It's something I'll pick up every now and then. And slide, I feel like slide is a great way to start to learn your fretboard, though. Okay, remember that's the most important thing you can do on an electric guitar is to start to memorize your fretboard. And we've talked about this many times in the past. I would say the number one thing, people ask me, what's the most important thing? I'm like, well, learn your fretboard. There's a lot of ways to arrive at that. So in the process of memorizing your fretboard, you can develop 1,000 other skills. But when I'm asked what should I do, what's the most important thing I should work on with acoustic guitar, and like I said, if you're going to be an acoustic guitar player in a band or maybe live or with a singer-songwriter kind of situation, you want to develop as many grooves as possible. And we've talked about that quite a bit. We've got a lot of grooves, and so being able to have to not have every song sound the same is critical. If you're going to do a 10-song set with a singer-songwriter, you're going to want to have some variety. And that may be finger picking, but sometimes finger picking doesn't cut through. You need to be always strumming, or you may need to, instead of finger picking apart, you may need to pick it the same. And that's a whole nother skill as well. So, all right, I'm going to add a little more gain to this, I think, and some delay. Let's add some delay. A little analog delay. Can we set it to sync temp host? Okay, what's that going to set? And then I'm just going to turn down the feedback a little bit, high cut, get a little darker. What's that? See what that sounds like. Wants to go to the 4 chords so bad. Sorry, but you know how we operate here. I feel like my camera's a little, I'm gonna try to lower it without messing too much up. Let's see if I can do it. I don't know. I don't know if that made it better. But you know how it is. We'll just kind of take the same thing over and over again because we're trying to work on something. So we just make a loop out of it, and that's kind of the great thing about having a little bit of skills with a digital audio workstation, a DAW, as it's called, DAW. Okay, I just brightened it up a little bit. I got a little delay. I think the gain is probably okay. Let me go a little bit. One of the things I do when I'm messing around with digital amps in the DAW, again, DAW, D-A-W, stands for Digital Audio Workstation. It'll be Logic, Pro Tools, any of those, Digital Performer. One of the things I do when I'm first trying in an amp is I'll do different picking dynamics. Okay, there's compression on it. Okay, that's what I'm hearing. So. I'm going to do a screenshot of this plug, what I'm working with here, okay? And I'll drag it into the, here so you can see it. Okay, let it go there, and then go to my desktop where the file should be. There it is, right? All right. And this is what I'm working with here, all right? BC Axiom, Blue Cat Axiom. Like I said, it's a French company. I know the guy that created it. Brilliant guitar player, brilliant musician. He plays drums and everything. But yeah, so you can see, you can hear the delay. There's a little bit of reverb. I'll turn off the delay. Nice reverb, just a very subtle room verb. Okay, now I turned off the blue drive at the top there. Now it's back on. You can see that purple thing. What was that? That's a limiter. That's off. There's a master compressor and a master EQ. I'm turning all those off. Okay, but my main goal here is to kind of have a confidence building tone. All right, that's where the delay and the echo and the distortion kind of helps, because it gives you a little bit more confidence. I'm going to go with my neck pickup. Okay, now we're playing over an A7 chord. Okay, one of the first things you want to do is you want to try to find some A chords on the guitar. Well, there's one, right? Probably may not use that one too much because it's pretty low. I can't really slide into it too much. So maybe A is not the best key, but that's the key I chose, so I'm going to have to live with it. But there's another up at the 12th fret. You've got that same chord, right? I can make it if I want to get that open E, but basically that's one chord. Okay, notice that chord has 3 notes all on the same fret. Well, that's the kind of stuff we're looking for. That's the kind of, we're looking for places, and that's the best chord. That's, if you're tuned in open G, that's, you know, this would be a G chord here at the 12th fret. And this would be a D chord, and this would be a C chord, the whole thing, all top 5 strings. Can't really do that with this with standard tuning, but we can use the 4th, the 3rd, and the 2nd string. And the great thing about that, we've got the 5th, the root, and the 3rd. So we have all the notes in the triad right there. Okay, now another A chord is this, and I'm going to talk about how to play slide. And you can use a lot of things. I have a drawer full of things that I use for slides. This one is, what is this made out of? Is this porcelain? Is that the porcelain slide? This one's glass. I like that one. It's nice and light. If I'm going to do a lot of slide playing, so for years I used this Sears Craftsman. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to go to your garage. Well, let me tell you which one it is. This one is was it 11/16, I think? Sears Craftsman 11/16, yeah. Now, a couple things I like about it is that it's a little bit heavier at the tip. I had a really nice slide that was kind of tapered a little bit, and then it was the tip was covered. It was like round, and it was heavier at the tip. So on this guitar is not set up for slide. I may have to change guitars. Hold on, but let me change guitars. I'm not going to use the 7th string. I got a 7th string right here, but that's not going to be the one. Let's grab this bad boy. I mean, this one's set up, has pretty low action too, but it sounds great. And I love the SG for slide because just the accessibility of the whole fretboard is phenomenal. It's a great slide instrument. All right, let me tune. Let's see, am I cranked? So I may have to change some settings, but let me go to tuner. A little flat. Been hanging on the wall. But yeah, so the Sears Craftsman. What else? Here's another glass slide. I like the quarter-seed and bottle slides. This is kind of what Dwayne Allman used. He was kind of an early adopter on that. Heck, this is just a copper pipe. I can't put my finger in there, it's too small, but I might use it this way. It gives a different tone. Here's a cool one. This one actually is one you can use. You can have it on your pinky and be playing guitar and then supposedly flip it around. It comes with now I'm thinking I want to go to the key of D. I'm going to change the progression to the key of D, okay? Because I'm going to tell you why. Here's an actual wine bottle that's been turned into a slide. And this one actually broke. So I'm hesitant to kind of get my finger in there. This is a saxophone mouthpiece cover. And I've had this since like the 70s. I got it from a bandmate, and so I've just always had it. It's one of my first bands. And so it's a little on the thin side, so it doesn't sustain well. Having thicker metal, so you can see how thin it is. So that's not going to be a keeper. Then you've got bars that are solid, and that's for lap. So if you wanted to play like this. So I think I'm hitting this compressor too hard. All right, so let me modulate the Rhodes and the bass up to D or C. Let's just do C. Okay, how about C? You're like, Tom, make up your mind. What am I doing here? Okay, you like this. Let's go. No, let's do this. Okay, so now we're in C. Boy, it wants to go into that. Wow, that tone knob really makes a big difference. Downside to C is my room kind of has a woofy C thing. Okay, I can make this a little smaller. I've made some changes in the sound, the adjustments in the tone, but not much. Okay. All right. So okay. So let's get back now. Let's talk about C chords. Well, here's the C chord. Let's find all the cage. That works out because with cage we're spelling out the word cage. So here's the C shape C chord. Here's the A shape C chord. That's the one we're going to live on, probably. Here's the G shape, but we can also visualize that. C-A-G-E-D, caged. Okay? This is kind of a reiteration of the caged method of seeing the guitar shape. So you're seeing the C shape, the A shape, the G shape, the E shape, okay? And then the D shape. And then back to the C shape. And with this guitar, technically I could probably keep going because I got such great access. Okay, I gotta get the guitar up a little higher. Here we go. There we go. We're gonna play classical style. Okay, now let's look at those chords. The C shape. Do we have any notes in the C shape that are on the same string, or on the same fret? I'm sorry. Any of the notes? Well, yes, we do. We have the open E and the open G, which can be translated to being G, the 12th fret on both. Now, the only thing you have to be really careful about, we're playing the blues, right? And so we've got in this chord, I've got a C7. I got a B flat in there, okay? Don't worry about about the chord theory stuff. Okay, there's not going to be a quiz on this, so everybody take a celebratory sip. It's one of our drinking game rules. Also take a sip for changing guitars, right, Sam? I missed that one. Okay, so you got to be real careful not to hit that second string, because it's going to be, ooh, that becomes an E minor triad. Also kind of implies a C major 7 triad, which is like the least blues chord you can play. Oh, I'm so sad. My woman left me. Yeah, that's just not, yeah, that's not going to work. It's, ooh, my woman left me. But you can see that we have these two notes. So, okay, let's get to the mechanics of playing slide a little bit, how I do it. Now, there's a million great players that are 1,000 times better than me. So, but one of the things you'll notice that I'm kind of tucking away my pick. I have my pick in my hand still. A lot of times when I'm playing slide, I don't even have a pick in my hand. If I'm in the studio and doing a slide thing, I'll probably put the pick down. Live, I'm going to want to keep this pick in my hand because I'm going to, I might want to go back to, I might want to go back and forth between slide and pick, and so I want to have that pick in my hand. But for now, you could not, and so I'm typically, what I'm doing is I'm kind of, if I'm playing on the top 5 strings or the middle 4 strings, I'm going to kind of keep my thumb on one string, the first finger on the next string, third finger on the next string, and thumb on one string, first finger on the next string, second finger on the next string, and third finger on the next string, and I'm just kind of resting them like this, okay? So that if I'm moving the slide around, I'm going to deaden the top string too. And I'm also deadening the bottom string with the side of my thumb. Okay, so my thumb is kind of killing 2 strings here, the 5th string and the 6th string. So now you can do this and it doesn't make any sound. Okay, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick the string out that you want to hear. And sometimes it may be 3, like that. You get this nice. But even then, when I'm sliding that up, if you're not careful, like if I just put the slide on there, take my hand up, it sounds like Bugs Bunny, right? Right? So that's kind of how they did it, but with a lap steel. So part of getting the notes to sound good and your melodies to pop and everything is to mute the strings that you're not using. That's not easy, okay? It's going to take some time, and you might want to just practice by, putting your hand on the fretboard like this. And now I'm muting the top 4 strings with my thumb and 3 fingers, and then I'm actually getting the bottom 2 strings with my thumb as well. So my thumb is actually right now muting 3 strings, the bottom 3 strings. So my first finger is plucking that note right there, where I can do the C. So I'm visualizing this C triad, 5th fret, 4th string, 3rd string, and 2nd string, and I'm sliding into the 3rd string note, which is the C. And almost immediately I'm using vibrato, and the vibrato serves 2 purposes, okay? The vibrato hides the fact that you're probably not in perfect tune. It's like a singer, an opera singer. Whoa! Well, I can't even do it. I'm singing a flat note. Whoa! So your pitch doesn't have to be perfect. If you got a vibrato, and you generally want the vibrato to go above and below the fret. So you're going a little flat, a little sharp. Okay? The other thing that the vibrato does is it keeps the note ringing. Because I can actually, I don't know if you can hear that, but I can actually get, it's kind of what Hendrix did, right? Right? he just was, the amp was so loud, he's just doing this. He's just wiggling it back and forth. Now, when you wiggle a note like this back and forth, you're using vibrato. You're using a pitch vibrato. The pitch is going up. It's not really going down. The lowest it goes is that F sharp in this case, and it's going above F sharp a little bit. Okay? The same as if I did that on a C note. That vibrato is different than this one. Which is kind of nice because it allows you to get that really nice above and below the note vibrato that singers can get. Now, I'm doing that, and you'll notice my first finger is just hanging out here. Okay? But my second and third finger are still muting the top two strings, and my thumb's still muting the bottom three strings. So only one of these notes. See, if I did that without muting, I could potentially hear a lot of other notes, especially if I was really loud. Because remember, when you're playing loud, which I like to say, practice loud. Obviously, you might want to protect your hands or your ears, but practicing loud prepares you for the gig, because oftentimes people will be like, man, I played so good in my bedroom, but man, at the gig I just couldn't feel it. And it's like, yeah, because the guitar gets out of control when you have to turn it up to be as loud as the drummer. And you're not practicing that loud, so you're not learning how to control the guitar. This is all part of that. This is called control. Now, I might use my first finger for a lot of these notes, or I might use my thumb. So notice here, watch what I do. I'm plucking with my first finger, and then I pluck with my second finger to get this note. So basically the lick was third string, third fret, slide up, like that. But I muted that lower note with my first finger. So I put my first finger back on when I pluck that top note, so the top note will pop. Don't have to do that. I can have both notes, and that makes it actually a little more bluesy. That's nice. And again, the vibrato is there to kind of hide any imperfection. Violinists use vibrato all the time. And when they do vibrato, remember, they don't have frets. So when they do vibrato, they are actually going below and above the desired pitch. So that lick right there, you could play two ways. You could play with those two notes ringing out, or I could just highlight the top note. Okay? And if I want to maybe go up to that G note, like that, then I'm definitely going to want my first finger muting that third string, because otherwise I'm making a C minor chord, and that's like, no, that's not what I want. So I also have, a very common one, and I might move my hand down again, my fingers down. Okay, now here's the last little bit of technique you need to kind of get down. You don't have to put the slide on your pinky. You can put it on your third finger, but you're basically going to want to put it on one of those two fingers so that you can mute behind with these fingers. Now, electric-wise, the pickup's over here, so it's really not going to pick up too much there, but you'd be surprised how much of the sound behind the slide will actually make its way somehow, probably through the nut, vibrating on the body. Acoustically, it would be a real problem. So if I were to play this on an acoustic guitar, everybody take a sip, I'm changing guitars. Oops. It just gets kind of sloppy sounding, and then you can hear all of that ringing out. It's still not as loud as what's in front of the slide, but that's just a lot cleaner. Now that's a typical, that lick I just did, we're back. Okay, everybody take another sip. Everybody take another sip. Hey, demonetized, what's going on? Oh yeah, Zeppelin's, yeah, it's so perfect on it. All right, that's one of the licks that, one of my favorite Duane Allman licks. And what he's doing is he's sliding down to the fourth and up to the third. So he gets this kind of like, I don't want to use that. I can't really do it here. I'm going to do it up in G. So it's got, and open tuning on open G, I'd have that E string down to D. Was it? It's super easy. It's not super easy, but it's a beautiful. And what's happening is I'm going. So on the top string, I'm sliding down a whole step, and then I'm going to the second string, and I'm going. So it's just like you're just taking the slide like that, and then you're landing on the root here. Actually doing it twice, right? And you can practice all of these licks with your first finger, but that lick doesn't work if you're... So I have to start here and go down there, so I have to go. It's a lot of distance to move. So I'm going. So it's definitely, I can kind of fake it, right? If I were doing it in like C, it's a little bit easier because I'm going down and I don't have to come up 3 frets instead of 4 frets, but then I have the root here or down here, so I'm good. And then the other problem with this is when I slide down to that F note, if I go to this third string to get that, I'm on a C sharp. So if I'm going to do it in that position, I'll kind of delay the third string pick until I'm getting kind of up there in the neighborhood of that E note. But it happens so fast, you probably... But then from here, you got to choose this or here. So it's that lick, like I said, it's my favorite Duane Allman lick. It's much easier in open tuning. so it's like, why am I showing you that? Okay, so let me just... Okay, so I was telling you, we got to look at all these chord shapes, okay? So we did the C form, and we found that we have these 2 notes that work. The A form is great because we have all 3 of those. The G form is great because we have these, okay? And then as an extension, though, with the E form, we have these 2, okay? And you also have this. So if you look at, we're on the hunt for notes in a chord that are on the same fret, okay? So like here we have this C chord. We've got 2 notes on the 10th fret and 2 notes on the 8th fret, all right? Let me just tune, I'm a little out of tune. Kind of important to start in tune when you're doing slide because the tendency is to, and a little tip here too, I feel like if you're gonna be sharp or flat, it's better to be a little bit flat than a little bit sharp. Flat always sounds correctable to me. Like, oh, he's just, you know, like when we're doing like blues licks, like, way up to that E. We're kind of getting halfway to that E. So being a flat on a note, or even this one, even that note, being a little bit flat is not as offensive as being if I was. Yeah, being sharp is always worse than being flat in the blues context. So probably pretty much true in any context, because in almost any genre, any style of music, I don't care if it's bluegrass, which has the word blue in it, or if it's jazz, you can almost always play blues-like elements or blues-like phrasing or approaches, and it's going to work. And I haven't said bupkis to anyone specifically on the chat yet. I just kind of went into creating a drum groove and teaching. Okay, so, but I'm going to keep doing that. So here's the thing that I really like. If you can see this C triad there, and then these two C notes here. So you got this. And I'm playing that lick. I'm either letting them both ring on top, and then just look. My thumb is literally muting 4 strings right now. I'm touching the 3rd string, and then I'm laying it across. I'm literally laying it on top of the strings here. So I just can get those notes to pop. Now, and then I have this one, which is the same as this lick. So it's nice to have that lick that going to the sliding into the 5th and hitting the root, which is a great way to end a phrase, right? It's nice to have it down there. And so we're in the key of C. So then the last one is this D form, which is the same, kind of similar as the C form. When I'm plucking lines like that, I mean, I don't think I ever play fast on slide. I might do something like that, like that. Might be kind of fast, and I'll use 2 fingers for that. But if I'm going to do a line like, I might use 1 finger for that line. That way I can just keep muting all the others. And so all that is just 3, 4, sharp 4, 5. Right? What is that? Slow ride, right? Last bit of it was, but it sounds like slow ride to me. All right, let me pause for a little bit and say hey to everyone. Sorry if you're feeling like Tom doesn't know I even exist. Wow, we got up to 30. What? 31? All right, it's good. Hey, hang on, people. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep teaching. So Bob, of course, was first, and then 6'9" was here. Hey, Richard's here. Good to see you, Richard Abdul. I don't know why I always say Abdul. It's 2 B's. Abul. Let's see. Sam, of course. I've been seeing Sam. And Joe, I saw you. Who else is? I mean, not most people aren't even commenting. We got 31 people, and so far I've only seen a few names. Sadie is in the house. AJ's in the house. Who else? Oh. Nisoma, yo, are you new? Welcome. I don't see, and Holly's here. No, you don't have to apologize ever for being late. It's a miracle that you're here every week. And Schumann, let's see. Yep, I think that's pretty much every. Oh, Gary's here. Hey, Gary, book. What's going on? Okay, so and then what? Bought a bottleneck replica of the Cordic. Yeah, that's pretty much what this is. I think. Let's see. You know, it doesn't say. It just says blues bottle. Oh, this may be Dunlop. I think this is a Dunlop. And again, I like this one a lot. And you can get different thicknesses, I think. I may have a couple of these. I have broken them. One little tip, if you put it in a gig bag, you're going to reach in there and you're going to cut your finger. You got to be careful. I've done that before, where I had one of these in my gig bag, and of course, it gets piled on or something. It gets hit or slammed or whatever, and it was broken. So in my... I actually don't have it a duplicate. I have I think it's a preacher's something slide. I can give you all some. Let's see, I got to go to Safari. I can give you a couple links here where I if you buy it, I get some coin. I don't, slide guitar, something like that. And it's no, it's not this. Where did I find that? I thought it was called. Okay, so I'm just gonna put brass slide because it was brass. I'm pretty sure. In other words, it wasn't gonna break in the case. Fender brass guitar slide. It was kind of like this because it's tapered. I'll put this up there. This was it's 24 bucks. Get link. Okay, copy. Okay, so here's a link for that. If you want to do that, I can. Let me find the. Wait, where'd it go? There we go. Did it go? Oh, I posted it twice. Sorry about that. I don't know what I was looking at. Oh, Fozu. First 3 minutes was a total waste of time. Oh, you literally are tuning a guitar in front of me. Come on, man. Yeah, this is a live stream. This is imperfect at best, but I'm sorry about that. I lost a follower. Let's see. Now, the other one that's let's see, the quercetin glass slide. I think it's Dunlop or Diodero. Okay, yeah. Is that what you said? You got the Diodero one? Well, here's the Jim Dunlop blues bottle. The small, medium, large. I think I got a medium just because I was afraid. I don't want to get stuck on my finger. So I tend to buy a little bit larger slides. But I'll tell you a little cool thing about, so here's that one, I think. No worries. Fozu, let's see. This one here, this one that is kind of cool, okay? The one that you could feasibly, it's brass. I'm pretty sure this is brass. Used to be a lot shinier. So these are removable. These inserts here, and it's a plastic insert and it spins. So you can get one that fits tight on your finger. See, this is not tight enough. So you can get one that's tight on your finger so that you can be playing, like I said, and then you can flip it over, but I never really mastered that. I've seen guys use this live quite a bit. It's actually one of the more common slides to use for live, like if they're in country bands or in, bands, rock bands or blues bands or whatever, and they want to be able to go back and forth. So that's not a bad one for that. And then you got the classic glass slide, which is open on the top. I use this one quite a bit actually too. So let's check this out. no pick. And that's the other thing we talked about. I mean, we've talked about this before too, the suspensions. So if you see this triad here, this C triad, again, it looks like I'm barring the top 4 strings, and technically I am, but I'm really kind of muting that, not pushing down on the top string. But it's the 4th string, 3rd string, and 2nd string. We have G, C, E. So that's the 5th of the C chord. This is the C chord. This is the 3rd, sorry. So this is a C note. So G is the 5th. Well, if we know the next note in the scale is after G is A, so that's a 6-5 suspension. Here's C. We go up to D. That's a 2-1 suspension, and then here we have the 3-4 suspension that we all know. And so when you're playing like this, when you're seeing that triad, a good exercise would be just to try to kind of play those suspensions up and down, and keep muting on the right hand. The sliding. Okay, and then start to see those also. Again, playing slide is another great way to kind of learn your fretboard. And then we see this triad here. This is a pure triad, C, E, G. It's root position. Don't worry, no quiz on that. Everybody take a sip. No quiz on root position. I mean, it doesn't hurt to know this kind of stuff, and again, part of the reason I say it, part of the reason I even bring up the music theory aspect of things is, okay, I'll check out that question in a second. One of the reasons I do that is because you'll be like, stop talking theory. But eventually you're going to be like, oh, I understand that now. It's like a light bulb goes on. But it may be the 14th time I mention it. Okay. Thomas Moore said, I can't get a good sound with slide with my amp. Any suggestions? Well, I think sometimes you might have too much distortion. I would start with a clean sound and then just slowly start adding some gain. Also, you might want to mess around with the tone. Like when I picked up this guitar versus the G&L, I had to adjust the tone on this because it was too buzzy and brittle. It sounded really brittle. And I know these pickups sound pretty good. I mean, of course, I'm playing in neck position too. That's another thing. It's a little woofy in the neck position. So I could play in the, but I like the warmness. The woofiness actually serves me well when I'm playing single notes. And like I said, this is a digital amp I'm playing through, but I like the fact that if I'm playing, it's pretty clean if I play it soft. It dirties up, it gains up. But if I went to the neck pickup, I'm sorry, the bridge pickup, almost sounds more kind of classic, classic Duane Allman, kind of more southern rock sounding with the bridge pickup. It kind of cuts through better. But I'm not trying to cut through anything. Now I might be. So I'm on the neck pickup. Now again, I'm talking about everything I'm playing is straight across the fretboard. Okay, and what did I just do there? I went to the 7th. So here's the root. Here's the dominant 7th. Again, we want that B flat, not the B major. We don't want that B major. I mean, B natural.
and also part of the problem, Thomas, might be you're not muting the other strings. So what's happening is you're trying to play this note. You're trying to play this C note, and every other note here, those are all not good notes to play over this. That note's great, but that's the only one at the 13th fret that's usable in this particular key. So muting with your right hand, also making sure you mute the strings behind the slide. The louder your amp, the more that noise is going to be annoying. It's going to be annoying. Yeah, that sounds like a stupid dad joke. I don't know if that helps, Thomas, but again, start with a clean sound. Get a decent clean sound. Maybe a compressor. Put a little compression on it. Experiment with the neck. Actually, the middle pickup sounds good. It's really soft sounding. I kind of like that for this kind of. Really wants to go to the 4 chord. So let me put the 4 chord in there, okay? Let's elongate this. And the 4 chord is going to be an F chord. So now I have to go and edit this and let's see. The question is on this, do I go up or down? I don't think I want to go up. Let me see what it sounds like if I go down. Okay, so it's going to be too low. So on the keys, it's a little low. The bass is fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the lower 2 voicings on the keyboard and knock them up an octave, and then maybe. No, that's fine. Yeah, that works. Okay. Sorry, inside baseball crap. All right. And again, I apologize that this is not in a perfect video. I do have a video. In fact, if Bruce were here, he probably would have found it already. I do have a video on playing slide in standard tuning, and I'm going to find it right now, and I'm going to give you a link to that so you can go watch that. I think it's done pretty well. Oops, slide standard. Yep. Oh, no, that's what. Hey, I got 2 videos on it. No, one of them's this video. I'm a moron. All right, here's that video. Okay, so you can save this and go to it later. Let's just, out of curiosity, let's look at the analytics on this one, see how it's doing. How many views it has. Well, 60,000 views. It's gotten 26 views in the last 48 hours. I mean, it's made a little bit of money, so it's definitely a subject that I feel like is not talked about too much. Okay, so now I have this, it's going to be 2 bars of, again, we're in 12/8, so 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. That's a bar. So 2 bars of C and 2 bars of F. And I could try, let's try this slide, okay? It's a little on the heavy side. That's the other thing we haven't talked about is you might want to have a guitar kind of assigned for slide. But again, this lesson is about just playing slide in the context of playing, live. And like, I want to add some slide to this song. It would be cool for the last chorus to go to slide or for the solo to use slide. You don't want to have to retune, so playing slide in standard. So this guitar I use all the time. I use it all the time. It's not particularly set up for slide. My G&L, I need to do a neck adjustment on it. The neck's getting the action's getting a little low on it right now, so I need to do a slight tweak on maybe a quarter turn, maybe. But this one is a little bit better. It's a little bit. I got a little bit more room here, so it's not going to fret out. Because if you push too hard, see that's so. All right. So several tips from Zion. In fact, I talk about it in that video. So muting strings you're not using. Muting the strings behind the slide, having a little bit higher action, and then the vibrato is important for slide. There's something what else did I just mention? Well, your tone, obviously, but anyway. Okay, so let's try this. It's going to go to the 4 chord finally. Oh, I was going to use this other slide. There's the F triad. It's a little heavier. See, the slide is a little heavy, so it's kind of now. This is a cool trick. What's his name? Derek Trucks does this, and I never thought this was bad technique. This was technically bad technique in slide. All right, to fret with the slide. I don't know. I mean, it was taught to me that you don't do that. You keep the slide really light on the strings, right? And it's like, and then when Derek Truck starts doing it, you're like, oh shoot, that makes so much sense. It sounds so freaking cool. Thank you, Holly, for all the paperwork you're doing here. So, for example, he might do something like this. He'll go. So I'm kind of picking notes, usually on the first string. I notice he does it a lot more on the first string than anything else. Like for over the C chord, I can do that. I can slide it. Now look at my thumb now. It's all the way down to the second string. I'm literally muting 5 strings with my thumb. And I'm plucking this with my first finger. And I got my pick in my hand. I don't need. So I could do that. Same thing on the F. Or I could fret it with a slide. And now when you do that, your pitch is perfect. You don't even really have to work. You don't really have to worry about being too precise. You just so like that, it's perfect. That would be a rule that I would not give anymore, which is to play super duper light when you're playing slide. But if you want the classic slide sound, you do have to have a light touch. You have to make the slide touch the strings, but you don't want the strings to touch the frets unless you want to kind of create that effect. And you want to, I don't know, it's totally 100% up to you, but you can use it, I would say, use that sparingly or save that. And people are like, whoa, wait a minute, what was that? That's cool sounding, you know. It almost sounds like slide through auto-tune to me. Because it has the tone of that, in this case, glass with metal sound, but it's perfect pitch. So it's like, and it's jumping from E to F, for example. You know, it's doing that. Sorry, I turned my, no, here. So it's got that, it's jumping from note to note. It almost sounds like you ran slide through auto tune. In fact, if I did, let's see what would happen if I can do it. Let's see. Okay, now let me run that through auto tune. Okay, now this is the stupid portion of the video. Not that any of it, all of it wasn't, but let's see. All right, I'm going to solo this, and I'm going to add like a pitch. Let's see, where is it? Pitch, vocal transfer, pitch shifter, pitch correction. Here we go, stereo. All right, and I'm going to put it in. I'm going to turn off. I'm just going to make it diatonic C major. Let's see. Wait, why is it not? Oh, because I'm here. Yeah, that's kind of cool, actually. It worked differently than I thought it would. Hey, Bob. We love all of it, warts and all. That's pretty darn cool, in my opinion. You know what that sounds like? It sounds like I went... It actually didn't roboticize it. I think I can roboticize it more, though. Response, if I turn it all the way down like this. Okay, tolerance, turn that down. Yeah, see, that's more like it, but it was, the response time was set at about 122 milliseconds. The tolerance was set to about 10 cents, which is about a tenth of a half a semitone. So that's pretty cool. Let me do this. Let me do another one where let me turn it off, and I'll go really fast. I'll go up an octave. Let's see what that sounds like. Okay. I'm gonna go to this pickup. Oh, I gotta go back into here. So stupid, but okay. I'm gonna go like this. Let's see what it sounds like then. Gotta wait. All right. Now, let's hear that. Here's what it sounds like. Okay, without the pitch correct. Let's hear what it sounds like with pitch correct. Oh. Oh, because I was going up too fast. It was faster than the 122 milliseconds. So I'm going to slow down the response to 32 milliseconds and see what happens. There you go. Well, and the crazy thing is I can change the scale here. So I can make this a minor pentatonic scale. Let me do that. Isn't that crazy? Hear it? So could I have C, E flat, F, G, and B flat? I could turn it into a Lydian scale. Let me do that. Okay. All right. This is like just me goofing around at home and you're watching. Here's a Lydian scale. Very subtle. It's hard to hear. I may have to go even faster. Yeah, that's weird. I could go chromatic and it'll hit every note. Yeah. Which is kind of what's happening anyway, but you're not getting the slide in between. Anyway, that's just stupid. I'm going to turn that off now. No plugin. I got rid of the plugin. I'm deleting these slides. What a funny... But I kind of liked it. In some ways, it sounded kind of cool. It's with the slower slide, it sounded like I was being very precise, which was pretty dope. I don't know that I would ever use that. I kind of... It's super hard because you're trying to hit these. It's not like, you got a lot of room for error here. You've got the entire size of the fret. And see, I'm muting the strings I'm not using. If I didn't do that, it gets messy. Because you're getting this. It just doesn't make any sense. All right? So if you're using like a classical guitar, yeah, like a lot of slides will only go as, this one is wider. You know, most of them are a little bit wider than the guitar, but I'm not using it on all 6 strings anyway. All right. Now, one thing I do miss about an open tuning in this situation is I do miss that power chord. I don't have a power chord I can hit. The closest I can do, and it sounds pretty ding-dang good, is I can do this. Okay, so what I'm doing is again, here's the C chord, right? I'm sliding into it, but I'm only using the 4th string and the 3rd string, so I'm only getting the 5th and the root. Okay, and right now if I was tuned down, I would have the full. That would be indicative of open G tuning, to have that power chord like that. But if there's a bass player, you kind of it almost sounds the same. Listen to this. Pretty much sounds the same. Miss it. And I'm anticipating the chord change. I'm going to play on beat 4 here, 3, 4, sliding into the chord change. When it goes to C, I'm going to go down here, basically B flat, and slide into C. And that's just a really cool beer commercial bar, you know, power chord. And I can go up an octave too. Down to the chord. One of my favorite licks over like a C7 chord. Just to kind of do that 6th going down, which I can do on this. But again, you got to mute that middle string. It's hard. To practice it. My first finger here. Watch my index finger. Ah! It's hard. My second finger is getting trapped behind it. But my first finger is just sitting on that middle, that G string. First finger is pushing on the G string. Okay, all you junior high kids, you can laugh now. All right, done laughing. Nope, still laughing. All right. Okay. So that way I'm not getting this. Because what I want is, you know, it's such a common lick. And it's like, what's interesting? That you can play a fuller version of that lick. Okay, so what I'm doing over the C chord, I'm playing the 7th and the 5th, and I'm sliding up to the root into the 6th. Kind of applying a 6th chord, but with a dominant in there. But I can add the 7th fret, and that's, or if I play it this way, okay. Now what I'm seeing here, though, is that that's the dreaded major 7th chord in a way. It's kind of like an E flat major 7th chord. In other words, it's these, and that's a straight line right there. So let me do it. Here we go. Hawaiian sounding. The other thing you can visualize for that is you can see the C9 chord. And there I'm just hitting the root. Very old school kind of. I mean, I probably first heard Robin Ford do it, but I guarantee he got it from one of the old blues masters. And so that's probably the truth there. All right, what time is it? Oh my gosh, it's already 10:30. All right. Well, what is going on? I can't believe we had a good turnout today. We got up to 32, was it? 31? 31. That's pretty high for us. Normally we're in the low 20s lately. I'm glad to see more people. I do have a video coming out. I may do I gotta edit it though, and I've been super busy. Loving it. Remember, you know what I say? I'll retire when the phone stops ringing. In a couple months ago, I was like, "Dang it, am I retired?" And now I'm like, we were in Ireland for 12 days, and I'm telling you what, man, I should post a link. I should post a link to his credit card thing. I could do that here, and we flew business class to Ireland for free because I just have miles, and I just build up the miles either from flying, or which I don't do that much. Sometimes though, if someone's going to pay me, like someone's going to fly me somewhere, I'll buy the ticket and have them reimburse me so that I can get credit. Because like if you buy a business class flight, you get like triple miles for that if it's an airline card, which is what I use. I use the Chase United. I think there are better ways to do it. I follow the points guys, and they have all sorts of suggestions. My son Jack is kind of a master at it, and he's like, "Oh, you need to get this card and this card and this card." I'm like, I don't want to have that many cards. We have friends that stay at like 5-star hotels just because they use the Marriott card. So. And it's like we're using it for dumb stuff like groceries, and I'll pay like our phone bill with it, and it's auto pay, the phone bill and the electric bill gets paid on it and all that. So we get miles for just living life basically. And originally I was thinking about we were going to go to London and then drive around like southern England, or hit some of the like Cambridge and Oxford, places like that. And we may still do that. But I was trying to get business class for us. I like to take care of my queen, when we fly, because she's such a penny pincher. When she flies in the like no frills airlines where you can't even bring a bag or anything without paying like $1 million. So when she flies with me, when we're going somewhere, it's like, no, you don't understand. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm spoiled. I got spoiled, and I'll fly coach every now and then. Like we flew coach to London 2 years ago because we did fly for free, but I didn't want to use that. I couldn't, again, like I said, this time I was trying to go to London, but they wanted 200,000 miles each way, each person. That's 800,000 miles. And I had almost 600,000, which is a lot of miles. I don't even know how I get there. I just used, I think we went to Dublin instead, and it was only 80,000 miles. And I'm like, well, that makes more sense. Because we flew to London 2 years ago. It was only 30,000 miles. So we only used 120,000 miles to fly to London for free on United. But that was coach. And then we flew business class this time. I was trying to find, it's just the cheapest I found was like 155, and I'm like, I don't have that's still more miles than I had it. That would have been what, 610? No, that would have been 620. And I'm like, I don't want to use all of my miles because this way now, if we want to go back to Europe next year, we can fly for free if we want to, and fly coach. But the other thing I might do is I might go ahead and pony up the dough for business class. And then you get all sorts of perks for that, and you get extra miles for that. Like they do double or triple miles, and then you get double or triple miles for the purchase price. So when I flew up to do that GDC thing, remember I played with the orchestra? I went ahead and flew up to San Francisco. I just flew myself up business class. It didn't cost that much more. The crazy thing is when we went to Scotland 2 years ago, we flew into London for free, and then from London to Edinburgh, I went through British Airways, and I booked a separate flight, and I gave us like 6 hours. It was a little bit of a drag because we fly into London nonstop, and we have a 6-hour layover to get to Edinburgh. So that's a tad, maybe it was 4 hours. I just wanted to pad it in case my flight was late. Now, it was a nonstop flight, so that's less likely to be late. But I flew business. I booked business class going to Edinburgh on British Airways, which was a short flight. It was an hour and a half flight, but I'll tell you why. There's several reasons why I did. It wasn't that much more. The difference was instead of $200 round trip, it was $500 round trip. So it was $1,000 for this little flight for the two of us to fly from London to Edinburgh. All right. But it came with free cancellation or free rebooking, whereas the other one, it would have cost me $75 or $85 a ticket to rebook if we missed the flight. Okay. Coming back, we flew to London, and then we spent the night what was that? There's a castle there, just right by the airport. I can't think of it. I'll think Windsor. We spent the night in Windsor, and actually got a lovely hotel. Had a beautiful. It was on the river. It was on the Thames, and we just sat on the Thames, and we actually took a riverboat ride. And we actually had plenty. We got there early in the morning, so we had the whole day on the Thames, and that was very nice. But here's the other thing. So we had free cancellation, but we had, for flying business class, we had access to the business lounge, which is the nice lounge that has basically full meals. It has a menu. You order whatever you want. It's all free. Free drinks. They even had bathrooms that you could use that were your bathrooms, so you could take a shower. And so we did all of that while we were in the lounge at the British Airways terminal. So that also is free bags. They wanted $100 a bag. So those $200 tickets were going to be $300 because we had 2 bags. We don't bring a lot of stuff. We pack very light. Although with Scotland, we didn't know how cold it was going to be, so we kind of overpacked with cold stuff, and it was actually very mild the whole time we were there. It didn't rain once, and we had all the rain gear, and we never needed it. I brought my big, heavy, like hiking boots, that are high ankles, and I did it again to Ireland, and I didn't wear them once. I wore them on the plane, so I didn't have to pack them in the suitcase. But it was like, dang it, when will I learn? It's like I'm just fine hiking in tennis shoes. If my feet get wet, my feet get wet. It's not a big deal. Actually, it's funny that I got the Keen, the really nice boots. I got them at REI. I figured, I'll get these Keens. and I'll have for Scotland. And but you know how it is when you have new shoes. You do not want to like have only those new shoes on your trip or something, because if they don't fit right or if they feel funny, or you get blisters. So I was wearing the Keens beforehand. We had a huge rainstorm, and so I thought, oh, this is perfect. I'll wear the Keens to go to Starbucks, right? So I'm walking to Starbucks, and there's our side of the street. We're kind of live on a hill, and our side of the street's fine. You still don't want to put your trash cans on the. You have to put them on the on the grass instead of on the street when it's raining. But across the street, it's a river, and so I'm going down there, and I'm going, oh, I'll cross the street there, and I'll walk through the river, and I walk through the river, and that water went up over the shoe, and and it's a high top, but it went into the shoe, and so that's how I realized they were waterproof, because that water did not leave that shoe. Walking to Starbucks with water filling my shoes. It was so stupid. I'm like, okay, I get it, but it's like, yeah, that did the opposite of what I wanted it to do. And like, I need a little exit valve or something. But anyway, so that was my experience with the hiking boots. And I'm not a wilderness student, so I know Holly has probably got all the tricks. She knows all the tricks. If I'm going to do that kind of thing, I'll probably consult Holly before I do any more shoe purchasing. But anyway, so that was so it would have been $600 anyway, and $600 and another $100 coming back. So actually, no, we would have had to pay for 2 suitcases both ways. So now the ticket's $400, so $800. Or I can fly business class and get 2 suitcases, 2 carry-ons, and a personal item for free. For $300. It's like, seriously, check it out. You're like, thank you, Ellie. When you're flying, I know you're like, oh, Tom's such a, you got to fly. It's like, I'm telling you, sometimes it's a better deal. And then again, coming back, we had access to the lounge. So we had a little bit of. We got to the airport. Well, no, that's not true. We didn't use the lounge coming back. Yeah, we only used. We got to. No, because we got to the airport and we immediately went to the hotel, and then we went to the United terminal. So yeah, no, I remember using the lounge, but it was only going up there because we had a layover. So, and they gave us points and everything, which I'm not probably going to use. Okay, and it came with a meal. Now, just so you know, the first class of the British like local on the island thing, it was just coach. Okay, there was a wall and a curtain, and the seat between us was a table, but the seats were no different. They didn't go back any further, anything like that. But they did bring us food both ways, and going up there, it was like 4 in the afternoon or something like that. We got high tea. And I'd never had clotted cream before. Oh, man, that's so good. So we had biscuits and clotted tea, and then they had coffee for us and tea, or clotted cream and tea, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was a good deal. So yeah, if it was $2,000 a person, I wouldn't have done it. No, I'm like, okay, we'll pay for the bag fee and we'll just deal. But again, probably what would have happened had as I was planning this, because I bought all this. Obviously, you'll buy this stuff and book it all way in advance. If I saw it was $100 per bag, we would have packed. We would have, okay, we're going to take 1 big bag instead of 2 medium bags, and I just the 2 medium bag to me is bigger than the one, or better than the 1 big bag, just because if they lose your bag, you still have stuff. So like we would, in the 2 medium bags, we would put some of her stuff, some of my stuff. I always had in my backpack. I would always have a chain, like underwear and t-shirt and socks, if we got stuck without bags. And I also don't like walking around town with a big bag. If you have to walk around going to a train station or a taxi station or something like that, we ended up having to do that in Ireland. We had to walk quite a ways to get to a taxi stand. That's kind of true too, Bob. Yeah, it is true. and again, like I said, Beth, God bless her, she's like, no, I'm just flying. We and every airline's different, but um, we we flew last 4th of July. We flew to New York City, and we flew. I went ahead and used miles to fly first class to New York City on United, and we flew back on, I think it was Alaska Air, and their first class was just the kind of the airline, like the movie theater seats, the kind of bigger, puffier, and there's only two. But United, it was the lay down beds. So we're flying red eye to New York, and we're sleeping on our bellies. It's just like, it's pretty stinking nice. Now, I don't know that the Dubai Air, or what are those airlines that have you have your own private suite, you have your own bathroom or whatever. It's like your own private movie theater. That's extreme, but I'll tell you, arriving at your destination having slept most of the way is not a bad thing. And I know it's not, most people can't afford. We couldn't afford it when we had kids. There's no way I was going to do. There were times where I thought about putting me up in first class and putting Beth and the kids in coach. But there was just a couple times I thought about that. I went like, no, because I know what would happen is I'd feel guilty and I'd let Beth take it, and then I would be with the kids, which the kids were great. We always got the, when we show up on a plane, like a long flight to Paris or Rome or something, and we show up with 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. The faces you see when you're walking on that plane are people going, oh, please don't sit behind me. Please don't sit behind me. And like, Beth was so well planned. Like, for one thing, a couple times when we flew. Oh, I gotta check this real quick. Sorry. My daughter is my daughter's up in Michigan right now visiting family. So, yes, and if you're really tall, man, it's tough. You've really gotta, get the extra leg room or whatever. My boys are both really tall, but we would have, I don't know if you've been on 747s where they had the 252 252 configuration. And we would take the 5, and that way we could put the arms up, and we had seriously, like, Beth and I could sit. One of the kids could lay on a kind of on the seats, and 2 of the kids could lay on the floor. But our kids were never allowed to kick the seat in front of them. They were never allowed to bang or like if they opened up the tray, they had to be ginger with it. If they were writing on it, they couldn't like do stuff on it or play games or video. If they had some kind of, we didn't really have the video handheld stuff, believe it or not. We didn't ever have any of that kind of stuff. So it was all coloring books and word games, and they had TV shows and stuff. The kids would watch TV shows. They had a DVD player they could watch Simpsons, and they got headphones with splitters so they could all be listening and watching Simpsons episodes and stuff. And when we get off that plane, people will come up to us and go, "Your kids are the best kids in the world." But when we were getting on the plane, they were like, "Oh no!" And then afterwards, they were like, and trust me, I've been around on flights where you had someone that literally screamed the entire flight, or they were kicking the back of your seat for an hour. It's like, oh, come on. You're not mad at the kid. You're mad at the parent for like not realizing that we're cooped up in this little tube, and we need to have some, we need to have some compassion for everybody. One flight, we were flying to Paris, and we were going there, and we were talking to this couple in Los Angeles. They were connecting through Los Angeles to go to Paris, and they were coming from New Zealand. So they had flown New Zealand to Paris, LA, and I guess they were in LA for a while, and then they were flying to Paris. And they had a baby, newborn baby. And that baby got on the plane, and we were like pretty far away from them. But I walked back and to the back, or just to stretch my legs or use the bathroom or something, and their baby's crying, and I said, "Do you want me to take your baby for a little bit?" Yeah, I mean, you're on a plane. Where am I going to go, right? And they said, "Would you?" Because we'd been talking to them, and we were playing with the baby, and the kids were playing with the baby and everything. So I took the baby, and immediately I put my finger in its ear and just started doing this, and the baby went, and they went, "Wait, what's that?" And I said, "Well, there's a button inside the ear. If you push it and turn it, it puts them to sleep." They were like, I unlocked a level or something, and they were blown away. And so we just held the baby for like an hour and a half, and their whole section of their plane they were like looking at us like, "Thank you so much." And and we had the baby in our section, and it was totally quiet the whole time. So yeah, you got to have sympathy for these people. But if you can help, if there's something you could do, like, and I mean, if if you don't have kids and you're taking a flight and you're worried about kids, maybe bring a couple coloring books and crayons or something and say, "Hey, here's a coloring book." I don't know if people would think that's weird today. I don't know. I'm sure people think I'm weird all the time. Every flight I go on, I bring on a box of candy for the flight attendants, and they freak out because it's like, no one does that. And I'm like, really? My boys do it, but nobody does it. And I'm like, well, I always do it. And I say, I used to bring French fries. I used to go to McDonald's right before the plane took off and get 2 large fries in a bag, roll it up and hand it to them. And they'd been on the plane for half an hour freezing, getting the plane ready. And they'd be going, "Are you kidding me? These are fries." And one time I got moved up to first class flying to New York. It was an empty plane, and they said, "Here, come here." And I went, "What?" And she says, "That's your seat." And I went, "No." She goes, "Thank you for the fries." This was back in the early it would have been in the 80s. I've been doing it ever since I've flown, since I was a kid. And so, which flight attendant? Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't think I've ever run into the same flight attendant twice, but I don't fly that often. I know people that do. If they take the same route, they're gonna run into the same flight attendants. It's just gonna happen. But yeah, I've been given bottles of wine. I've been given bottles of champagne. And here's the God honest truth: I do it with zero expectations. If almost every time I give them the candy, they go, "What? Well, thank you. Well, what seat are you in?" And I say, "I'm not telling you. I don't want them to give me anything." But like when we flew to Ireland, in business class, everything's free. But we were in coach for the first part of it, and we were in like Comfort Plus. But we had to fly to Chicago on coach, which is a drag, but that was the only way to get this deal on the flight. And that flight was free too. So, but when they came by with sandwiches, and I'd given up my aisle seat to someone, and I was sitting in the middle, so I could be near Beth. We booked the 2 outside seats, and sometimes, if not anymore, pretty much the flights are full, but sometimes you get an empty seat. I did that both ways, and it didn't work out. But I gave up my seat both times, and the person was thrilled because I want to sit next to my wife. But the flight attendant saw me, and they were handing out they were selling sandwiches. And I looked at the menu, and I thought about buying something, but I went, our next flight, we're going to be getting so many meals and so much food. And we could go to the Polaris or the lounge. And so we were going to get a meal at the lounge, which we did. And so I was like, I wasn't going to order anything. And she saw me and she goes, "Oh, hey, you, what do you want? Anything you want?" And I go, "Well," and the guy next to me got this bagel thing that looked really good. I said, "How about that?" And actually it was the same price as the candy I gave him. So I ended up breaking even on the candy. But sometimes I'll get, like getting bumped up to first class. That's a serious, "Hey, Dennis, what's going on? Good morning, good evening." hit that like and subscribe. Yeah, heck yeah, hit that like. I don't know how. What are we doing? What are we looking at? Got 18 likes. We've had Dennis. We got up to 31 early on. About 40 minutes in, we hit 31, and then it's just kind of been sitting here, and it's kind of tapering off now because everybody knows I'm kind of finishing. We're just kind of talking. People have me in the background. Yes, and that is a 7-string behind me. What was I working on? Oh, I'm working on so much stuff right now. Like everybody's calling me right now because I just got back from vacation. So I'm having to catch up on work, which I love. But this I was using on. Rebecca, you can take a sip. I'm sure that's technically changed guitar. The Vision Quest for Disney Plus. I don't know if you ever saw WandaVision. It was a very interesting show, kind of really good actually. Marvel, and so this is the third installment. It's called Vision Quest. I think Vision Quest was WandaVision's husband, I think, or something. I can't remember. It's been a while since I saw WandaQuest. And then there was a second one. I don't know what it's called. And this is the third installment. And I've worked on the first 2 episodes and the theme, so it's great. I'm getting a lot of work out of it, and I think it's 9 episodes total. So unless there's some weird musical episode that doesn't require, and again, a lot of what I do isn't guitar. I mean, I play 80 different instruments, but a lot of it's what I do for some composers is more sound design than guitar playing. I'll create sounds that, I can show you one right now that like you wouldn't believe it's guitar, and I don't even know if it'll work with because it's gonna be crazy low. But this one, let's see, oh man, this thing is crazy, It doesn't sound like guitar. I like that. I like the when it shuts down, it sounds really cool. Anyway, I do a lot of that kind of stuff for different composers, and they could spend 10 hours trying to get that sound on a keyboard, and I could just pull up a patch and hit a note, and it's there. So I do a lot of that kind of stuff. Anyway, I should probably get going. Expecting. Oh, awesome! That's awesome, Dennis. Oh no, 30. Oh, that's warm. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Celsius. Yeah, we're actually we hit 100 yesterday, 102, which is what 30, or 30, 35. Is that 40? Maybe 100 is 40. It was nice in Ireland. I mean, that's part of the reason why we went in this. We're kind of limited to vacationing in the summer because of Beth's work. So that's kind of why we're going cooler places. So Dennis, I'm glad I didn't go to Holland this time. When we went to Holland, we were there in December, and just love it because again, we live in LA. So Ireland, basically, the weather in Ireland was like winter in California. So it's perfect, really lovely. Never got cold. We never got cold, but it was wonderful. The driving was an adventure, but now I have the confidence that I could do it again. I still would get the full insurance. I'm not stupid. And I would definitely get a smaller car. They upgraded me, which I should have said no, but we ended up with an SUV, and some of those country roads, some of those roads they're not, I don't even know if you can call them roads. There's actually literally one lane and there's grass growing down the middle. I mean, and yet you come up on a semi truck, It's hot there. Yeah, we're going to hit 92 today, but I think we're going to be in the mid to high 80s next week, and that's fine. It's not the high that bothers me. It's if the low, like, Holly, you know this, if the low is like never gets below 80, you're going to have to run that AC all night. I like to open up the house at night, and so, yeah, we have very dry heat. So it could be
100 degrees, but if you get in the shade, it feels like 80 degrees. I mean, it's literally a 20-degree difference between the shade and the sun. In Indiana, where I grew up, there was no difference. You get the sun. Well, it was hotter in the sun, but it was hot in the shade too. The humidity was up there. So I remember that back in Indiana. I loved, though, playing in 90-degree weather with 90% humidity. I loved it. It just felt so, like, at the end, and I wasn't even drinking water, You know me now, I've got my water I have to start drinking, right? Like the doctor said, I'm not getting enough water. So you guys are watching me drink water. And I'll chug half of this in one sitting because I don't really like to drink water. I definitely don't like sipping it. It tastes nasty. Right now I'm feeling a little nauseous from all that water hitting my stomach. I haven't eaten anything. I don't usually eat breakfast. It's a third of boiling temperature. Okay. Oh, right. Third. Yeah, right. So yeah, 30. There you go. Thank you, Sam. A third of boiling temperature. So 212 is boiling. So it's a third of that. Yeah. It's pretty stinking hot. Do you even own shorts? I don't own shorts. I have gym shorts for working out, but I don't have like walk around shorts. I'm not a shorts guy. Here's my thing though. And I'll walk to Starbucks when it's 118. I don't care. It was 120 in Phoenix the other day. People just don't go outside. I'm like, I should wear a hat probably when I do that, but I just think cool thoughts. I know that sounds stupid, but when I'm walking to Starbucks and I'm going to get a hot coffee, and that's one of the things the British said when the Brits went to India and it was like a whole nother level of weather. They would just drink hot tea to cool to bring their inside temperature up to match the outside temperature so that they wouldn't feel so hot. We don't really have mosquitoes or flies so much. We occasionally get flies. We get those stupid slow black flies, the dumb ones that you can kill practically with the back of your hand. Something like an apple or strawberries are the worst. Like if a strawberry is thrown in a trash can, but it misses it, it's laying on the floor and you don't notice it behind the trash can or something like that. We've had those before. It's like, where are these flies? We have to go all over hunting for where the fruit is. And so we've had a rat die in the wall and the smell goes away in a day, but the flies show up about a week later. So I've had those. Oh, you would walk in shorts. Okay, you're one of those guys. Yeah. I'm the opposite. I have lots of friends that are like that. They just always wear shorts. I'm always wearing jeans. I'm not. I think if we ever went to Thailand, my cousin lives in Bangkok with his wife and his daughter. Well, their daughter's actually in Michigan, I think, right now. But if we ever went to Thailand, I would get linen. I would be wearing nothing but linen. I'd probably get some shorts, but my legs are so white. I mean, just super white. They would probably worship me as a god. Some white god. I don't know. It's just awful. Oh, you hate long sleeve shirts? Yeah. No. Well, here's my thing: is I can't wear a long sleeve shirt without a t-shirt. So if it's hot and I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, I'm wearing a t-shirt too. So it is funny how we all have our own peccadillos, right? You need space to move. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I know my mailman, he or she, it's different days, but they both wear shorts pretty much all year round, unless it's really cold. But Holly, if it gets down to 60, 62, and we can open up the house, it cools the house down. Like right now, maybe the AC's kicked on. It feels good in here to me. I don't mind the heat, but Beth, it's bad for Beth. But she goes back to work on Wednesday. Tomorrow's the last day of summer vacation for her. And I will keep the house at 82. I don't really care. My dream is that the AC never kicks on.
So I will open up the house at night. First thing in the morning, Beth gets up. Sometimes she'll get up at 4 in the morning to use the bathroom, and she'll open up part of the house and get all the fans going and things like that. But I will, I'm fine. I actually almost kind of like it when I'm sweating a little bit when I'm working, because my job is not a very manly job. I'm playing guitar all day, so I feel like I'm not really working a hard day. So if I sweat a little bit, I'm kind of like, yeah, this is, I'm a man. I'm putting in a hard day's work. It's part of the problem of working with computers. So blouses, yeah, blouses. We call it, in the States, a blouse is what a woman wears. Yeah, we do have fans. Oh, yeah, the attic fans are great. We don't have one of those. My mom had one of those. And it was phenomenal. Unbelievably powerful and really loud. But it would pull air in to the whole house. Randy Rhoads? What about Randy Rhoads? You have two AC systems. That's, yeah, and I know the big trend now is to have the wall units, the high ones. I don't want those holes put in my house. I don't want those things out. I don't like them. If they out in California, if they outlaw central air systems because they want you to cool each room individually, I'm like, I don't know. I think I will just keep getting mine fixed. Oh, cool biography on Randy Rhoads. Oh, a movie? There's a movie out about Randy Rhoads? Or a documentary? They could do a biopic on him. I don't know that much about his life, to be honest. Maybe that's why I need to watch it on YouTube. I'll check it out. Is it new, Richard? You want to put a link down there? I can approve it if it won't let you. One of us can approve it. Let me look it up. New Randy Rhoads documentary. Oh, 22. The Untold Story? That's not it. Wait, sorry. I went to the wrong. Went to the wrong browser. There we go. No, that's not what I wanted. Full movie, okay. Reflections of Guitar, 13 days ago. Okay, this one, okay. I see it, okay, cool.
The body scanner reveals the brutal truth about your body.
I'll save it. Save. Watch later. All right, thank you. Got it. I think this is it. Oh, here, I'll post a link. I think this is the one, Richard. It's an hour and a half, so it looks like a legitimate film. So I'll put that aside to watch later. I kind of got to get to work. I've got a short film that I'm working on, and Beth is out of the house, and I got to do some 12-string. Let's see. I'm doing bass 6 on it, 12-string. I was gonna do auto harp, but he had a sample for auto harp. I have one. Well, I put it away. The sample. He had augmented chords, and auto harps. I can't do augmented chords, so. Oh, the uploader has not made this movie available. Huh. What country are you in, Sadie? I thought you were in the U.S. Cinesphere. What if they have other...
But I could probably watch some of it while I'm getting set up and getting guitars ready and tuning and things like that. Yeah, anyway, great to see all of you. I can't believe we're still holding on to 20 people here watching me and listening to me talk about flying business class like a freaking elitist snob. So here's the music I got. So here's some of the bass 6 music. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see. Yep, and then here's some of the 12 string. I got to do some 12 string stuff. Now, he wrote some stuff that's not in range on the instrument, but it's he said, "Oh no, play it idiomatically, which means play it like you would play it on the instrument if you're doing it." So we're kind of channeling kind of 60s folk music a little bit. It's a very interesting movie. I don't know if the other one that I did with this composer, and this composer is the assistant to one of my main composers I work for. And so he's starting to do scores. It's like, I love it because young kid, you know, I mean, I'll keep working as long as I can. My left ear is pretty deaf. My hands still work, my eyes still work, but, you know, if that changes, you know, Lord willing, I'll keep doing what I do. I love doing it. And I really don't, plan on retiring because my job is pretty simple or easy. It's not hard on my body or anything. It's not stressful. And so I get, plenty of strokes for it. So it's kind of nice. And my career, keep in mind, my career got a very, very late start. That's a miracle that we're in a house, but I've got a 30-year mortgage ahead of me. I don't expect to pay off the house. My kids can do that when I die. But the thing is, my career really didn't get started until my late 40s. So I didn't start making the kind of money I wished I'd been making in my 20s. I didn't start making it until my late 40s. It was about a 25 or more year delay to what most people had as a career. Most people would be almost considering starting to retire by the time my career started to take off in my 50s. So I could retire in spite of the fact that I didn't make a lot of money through the years. I saved a lot of money and invested well and wisely. And so technically we could retire if we wanted to, but don't really, like I said, I'd rather not be penny pinching in retirement and be able to take fun vacations. I'd love to be able to do 2 trips a year. At least 2 trips a year. I'd love to go to Europe once a year and then maybe somewhere domestically once a year, but when I say at least, because we have a daughter in the Midwest that's having a baby, Emma's pregnant, and we're going to want to see go and see them. So, but the hard part for me is taking time off from work. I give everybody a big warning, and then of course, the week before I left for Ireland, it was insane. It was freaking nonstop. And it's like, I'm like, can you guys all talk to each other and kind of schedule my time a little better, but most of these guys don't even know each other. So guys and gals, I work for some amazing female composers. It's really, really cool. It's not a fun job, and it's a very solitary job. And it's not conducive to having a family, being a composer. So it's tough, but getting to work for more and more people. So that's a great mortgage. Yeah. Right now, mortgages are higher than rents because of the interest rates. We've got a really low mortgage too. Our mortgage is less than a 1-bedroom neighborhood in our neighborhood, and we've only been here for 6 years, so it's crazy. Anyway, I should get going. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. We will gather next Monday, as far as I know. Lord willing. Yeah, we're 2.625. Yep, same. Unbelievable. I can't wait for it to get back down there so our kids can all get houses, because right now that's pretty much what's keeping them all from getting in a house. Yeah, yep. Bye, everyone. Good. Thank you, Holly and Dennis. Bob, thank you all for being there, and we will talk soon. Bye.